This week on Houston Newsmakers, the killing of Alva Braziel. What happened that July night that ended with Braziel lying dead in the middle of the street, followed by days of protest about HPD policies? The attorney for his family is here. And the Olympics from Rio will be seen here on Channel 2 for the next several weeks, but you don't have to go as far as Rio to see the Olympics. The 30th annual Harris County Street Olympics going on right now and will finish as the games in Rio start. Also right now, more than 15,000 athletes from 45 states converging on Houston for the 50th annual Junior Olympic Games, what it means for Houston and how you can get involved.
From KPRC Channel 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
It was early on July 9th when Alva Braziel was seen on surveillance video from a nearby gas station. He was in the middle of the intersection of Cullen Boulevard and Ward Street. Video shows him in the street with arm raised. Witnesses said he was shooting into the air. What happened in the span of about 15 to 20 seconds is unclear, but what is clear is that Braziel lay dead in the street with family, friends, and community, wanting to know why it needed to end this way. With me now is Barbara Hudson, attorney for the Braziel family, to talk about that evening and what are the hopes for what happens as a result of that night. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
What was it that brought you in connection with the Braziel family? How were you contacted about that?
Well, I was contacted by his wife, Nikita Braziel. She came to my office and she was asking for assistance. She previously had another attorney and she said she needed someone that she could relate to, someone that she could talk to.
Right.
And we engaged into a conversation and she asked me to represent her and the family.
What are the hopes for the family now as a result of what happened that night? Clearly there are a lot of questions that still need to be answered. What is their overall hope in terms of retaining you?
What they're hoping for is the procedures and practice and tactics of not only the Houston Police Department, but police departments around this country. When they encounter a black man, why are they so quick to draw their guns? I don't think that it would have been happening if it was over in Westheimer. Would they have drawn their guns on a white man so quickly? They just want to see procedures change. Nothing, no amount of money can bring Mr. Braziel back. He can't come back to life.
We'll talk more about what might happen as a result of whatever you're pushing forward in terms of lawsuits or whatever. I don't know where that stands right now, but it seems to me the biggest point of contention had to do with the police body cams, which obviously when the police have body cams, there's hope that that's going to add clarity to the situation. Our reporter anchor, Andy Sirota, was at a news conference shortly after that body cam was released, and as he says in this report, the release did little to clear things up.
We know from surveillance video that 13 seconds lapsed between the time the two police officers opened the doors to their squad car and Alva Braziel went down. Police say the officers opened fire because Braziel had a gun, was waving it in the air and pointed it at them before they opened fire. This afternoon at a joint news conference with Nikita Braziel, her attorney, and a member of the Black Lives Matter Houston, questions were raised as to why officers didn't try to de-escalate the situation before shooting and killing Braziel.
The video I'm seeing is they jumping out, shooting him down. How can you shoot somebody down and they ask you for help and you steady shoot them down? Can you explain that to me?
The body cameras those officers were wearing weren't turned on until after those fatal shots were fired. Police department policy requires officers to activate them once they arrive at a scene, but allows the officer to wait if they believe a threat isn't contained. A member of the Black Lives Matter Houston is demanding the policy be strengthened.
Establish communications with the state to change the laws so that we can regulate body cameras to the point that they have to be on at all times when they're interacting with any citizen in the city of Houston or in the state of Texas.
So at this point, what kind of feedback have you gotten from the city of Houston about this whole thing?
Since I've been retained, I've had no feedback. I've not had the opportunity to talk with the mayor, nor has he reached out to the Braziel family personally.
At this point, this comes as so many other circumstances were happening around the country. You had Baton Rouge, you had Minnesota. Those are situations that got a lot of exposure. Mr. Braziel was not necessarily a sympathetic figure. I mean, obviously a life being taken, that's a tragedy. But many people, you can understand, they would say, well, here's a guy who's out in the middle of the street basically shooting a gun as far as we know, and police coming up, the odds of that ending well are not very good.
Well, who says he shot a gun? From my understanding, and this is an ongoing investigation, it's been my understanding that there was no weapon fired. So there was no bullets in the gun. There was not a thorough investigation. We're still investigating this case right now.
So you see, when we see pictures of a gun on the street, you're saying that that weapon may not have been loaded. We don't think that that was fired. That's part of the contention at this point.
That may be the case. We're still, this is an ongoing investigation.
And you made a point, you said something about the mayor had not contacted you personally or the family at this point. What's your sense of the way he's reacted to this whole situation?
Well, I think he released the video camera, and going back to that, their cameras did not come on till after the shooting. We need to know what the policy is for the city, for the Houston Police Department. When are the video cameras supposed to be on? I mean, certainly we have cameras now. The city has spent thousands and thousands of dollars. For what? For them not to be used? Doesn't make any sense.
So at this point, what kind of legal action is being taken? And you've been retained. Has there been a lawsuit filed? What is the hope and what is the plan going forward?
Our hope is to get some type of justice. And I'll say this again, no, we have not filed a lawsuit. We're not just trying to rush out and file a lawsuit. We want to seek answers. I think that's what we need to do. We need to have a thorough investigation prior to anything being filed.
Does that help get answers more quickly when you have the legal process going forward? In other words, being able to go ahead and take depositions and those kinds of things?
Absolutely, and that's what we're hoping that we can do. We can have a thorough, ongoing investigation, and then we'll make a determination whether a lawsuit will be filed. What
kind of timetable do you have for whatever is going on at this point, or do you have a timetable?
I do not have a timetable. It's only been 1 week since I've been retained, exactly 1 week today. So with that being said, we first of all wanted to respect Mr. Braziel and having his services on this past Saturday. Ms. Braziel right now is very critically ill. She's not feeling very well. So at this juncture, we're just going to wait until our investigation is over.
Well, I do hope that you will stay in contact with us and let us know as this process continues, and let us know where you are with that, and we can maybe have you come back, and when other members of the family might want to come on, maybe we can do that as well.
Certainly.
Barbara
We'll
Hudson,
do that.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure as well. Up next, with the Olympics starting in Rio, you don't have to go far to experience Olympics right here at home. I'm talking about Harris County Street Olympics. 8 weeks of competition, who benefits, and what you need to know. That's next when Houston Newsmakers continues. Welcome back to Houston Newsmakers. I'm joined now by Brian Rigo, Executive Director of the Harris County Street Olympics, Coach Johnny Means, Head Coach and Director of the Harris County Aquatics Program, and Amber Carter, a former Street Olympics swimmer, swam for LSU, took part in the Olympic trials. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
This is an exciting time. Olympics is everywhere. We got Olympics in Rio, Olympics with the AAU we're talking about now, and the Street Olympics too. Tell me about that. How long has that been around?
The Street Olympics celebrates its 30th anniversary this year, and it was developed in '86 by the late County Commissioner Al Franco Lee. And the purpose is it provides youth programming, the Street Olympics, that is either educational, recreational, social, educational, or social in nature.
I see. And this whole thing, what was it going on at that time that he saw that said, hey, you know, look, we got to start something?
That was great, because actually nothing. That's why. He wanted to start something to fill the dead time in the summer that children have. Because usually we know dead time with kids, you have the potential for not good things. And the Summer Games, a program under the Street Olympics, was the first of 4. And it's simply a 12-week summer program. And then that developed into a lot of year-round programming that we have now.
Coach Means, you've devoted your life to athletics and swimming. Talk about what it means for the part of the program that you deal with in swimming. How important is it to get young people involved? Because I know when we look at statistics all the time about kids who die needlessly because they can't swim, I guess that's got to be a real reason why you're involved.
Yes, that's a real motivating factor. As you know, us being on the Gulf Coast, a lot of kids are involved in water and aquatics and what have you, and so we saw a need to teach a lot of kids, which we do. We will probably teach about 3,800 kids or close to 4,000 kids this summer. And a lot of it is for life-saving skills, but we also take those kids and move on for those that have the propensity to want to be competitive swimmers also. And
so I think maybe Miss Amber to your right was one of those who maybe had that kind of skill set?
That's right, absolutely. Amber was one of our outstanding products. In fact, she went to LSU on a swimming scholarship. She just came back from the Olympic trials. She may decide to try it again in the next Olympic trials, and hopefully we might get her in the Olympics this time.
Amber, what was it that attracted you to this program? How young were you when you started doing it, do you recall?
I've been with HCAP for 7 years, going on 8 now. And I swam for Lamar High School, and I had a lot of friends that swam for HCAP. And so I met Coach Means at a random swim meet, and I loved him. So I was like, I think I want to join your team. I had a little goal. I went there, and within a week I was swimming better already. So
what kinds of things did you stress to the kids who are in your program? And you can relate to the younger kids, can you not? And then you're what we call the old dog, but you get the kids who fall in love with you and want to swim. So
yeah, the kids come up through a ranking that we have from the Learn to Swim and the developmental program that we have. In fact, tomorrow we have our splashdown, which is a consummation of all of the kids that we have developed and taught to swim, and this will be their first experience at competitive swimming. And so consequently they will come up through the ranks and eventually hopefully become on the level that I will get a chance to work with them.
I want to ask you both about the Olympics this year. This program, the Street Olympics, is primarily focused on African-American, Hispanic kids primarily, and so swimming is not really high on the list, but now we have an Olympic swimmer from this area.
That's right.
And Simone Manuel, who is here. What do you think when you see somebody like her who now is on the national world stage and she's from this area? What can that do to get other kids motivated to want to swim?
Well, it should absolutely motivate a lot of the young kids. A lot of the kids, as you say, our program is very diverse, and of course African Americans, Hispanics, and etc. are involved in our program. These kids now can see that anyone, this old stereotype to whereas non-African Americans and what have you can swim, has been broken now, that you see on a national and world stage where you have someone like Simone swimming. So it's always good for these kids to have a role model or someone, and also like Amber here.
Amber, you didn't make it this time around. Are you encouraged about trying to continue to do that, or what's your status going forward?
I am. I'm going to try to find a job, and then eventually I can't qualify for another 2 years. So wait another 2 years, see if I can qualify to go to Olympic trials again, and then another 2 years after that, try.
All right, anybody watching, Amber needs a job? Brian, tell me about your biggest challenge in trying to make this happen. Every year you put it on, you and so many other people with Harris County put this together. What's the biggest challenge in making it come together?
The biggest challenge in making it come together is all the moving pieces, because it is a very large effort. I just sort of hold the reins, and we get a lot of help from County Commissioner Gene Locke's office, other county commissioners, just to transport the children. So those moving pieces in making it all happen, and one of the biggest goals is I want to produce something that when the child says, what was my best day of the summer? Street Olympics, August 5th.
I want to talk about the grand finale. It's Friday, the 5th of August. You got 2,500 kids you're expecting in there, the NRG Arena. I want to give you more information. You can go to their website, streetolympics.org, or go to clicktohouston.com. Brian Rigo, Coach Johnny Means. Amber, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck in the next ones. We'll get you on next year when we get ready to do this again. Talk about Amber getting ready for the Olympics.
There you go. Absolutely.
Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Hey, still ahead, another major sporting event going on in Houston right now with national implications, talking about the AAU Junior Olympics. The chair of that event is here with what you need to know. That's next when Houston Newsmakers continues.
From KPRC Channel 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
And continuing with our Olympic theme this week, I'm delighted to welcome Paul Campbell, chair of the AAU Junior Olympics, which are taking place in Houston right now. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is a pretty big deal. I understand there's 15,000 athletes from 45 states. Is that about the normal size of this event?
It varies between 2,000 or 3,000. We've been up as high as 18,000, low as 14,000 for the last 10 years. Great event, great event for young athletes.
And they focus toward this, and this is an annual event that takes place every year?
This is an annual event.
You move it around, though, from city to city?
We move it. We have a 5-city rotation, and they'll be on for 15 years, each city doing it 3 times. So we'll be back in Houston 5 years from now and 10 years from now. I may not be back, but the kids will be back.
Oh, let's hope to see you back as well. Hey, for how was Houston chosen, by the way?
Houston was chosen for one main reason, is track and field. Track and field in Texas is big. It's one of our larger sports that we have for a particular state. And we have 5,000 participants from the Houston area alone participating in track and field, of which 1,500 have qualified to the Junior Olympic Games.
And you also have other sports as well. There's all kinds of variety of different sports you have.
Right.
Talk about the AAU. For people who don't know AAU, what is it, its premise, and it's been around for a long time.
AAU's been around since 1888. The AAU was the controlling body of our athletes going to the Olympics up to 1978. And Congress at that time had a sports act, and they put each of the sports on their own, and the AAU took over the AAU Junior Olympic Games instead of being a NGB for a sport.
Right.
We had the chance to do swimming, but we decided to do the AAU Junior Olympic Games because we wanted to serve the youth of America.
I gotcha. And that's what it's all about. You told me before we started taping that you really, one of your real joys is to be able to see young people getting involved in the sport, whatever sport they choose, and this is really a good way to develop them in more ways than just sports, is it not?
Right. Just because they might be doing basketball early in their life, they could become rowers. They could become pentathletes or heptathletes. I have hundreds of stories of young people that have gone on to other sports and participated in the Olympics.
What is the uniqueness about the variety of sports that the AAU?
We have 37 sports that we deal with, some more than others. But our major sports are wrestling, taekwondo, karate. You start going through them, gymnastics. We have demonstration sports and sports stacking. And sports stacking is basically cups.
And we saw
it's really neat to see, and it'll start tomorrow and go the next 2 days.
So this event, we starting on Wednesdays, running for 12 days. How convenient is it for people who might want to go see some of the events? What's the challenge there in terms of getting out and seeing some? No
real challenge. Track and field is out at Humboldt. It's got a nice facility. Any of the George Brown Center is a fantastic place to see facilities. We're at Pearland for the swimming. We have 540 swimmers coming into town. In most cases, all these kids have to qualify to get here.
Right, so good competition.
Very good competition.
We're going to put your website information, whatever we can do, put it on my website so people can go to clicktohouston.com and be able to get information about the games.
Great, that would be fantastic.
Paul Campbell, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you for all you do, all your support for the young people. I'm guessing that 5 years from now, you're going to be back with those kids?
Well, yeah, I will.
Okay, good. We got the commitment here. You heard it right here. Reminder, for the next 3 weeks, Houston Newsmakers will be online only for a very good reason. The Olympic Games in Rio will be seen exclusively right here on Channel 2 from August 5th, and the opening ceremony to the closing of the games on August 21st. Our anchors will be live from Rio in every newscast. The Special Olympic Zone program focusing on our local Olympic athletes and much more can be seen Monday through Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Thank you to my guests for joining me this morning, and to all of you for tuning in. If you'd like to see previous shows or get information on today's program, go to click2houston.com. Under the news banner, click on Newsmakers. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time right here on click2houston.com.